House New York Rep. George Santos. It's just the sixth expulsion in the chamber's history. The U.S. House voted on Friday to expel Republican Rep. George Santos of New York after a critical ethics report on his conduct that accused him of converting campaign donations for his own use. He was just the sixth member in the chamber's history to be ousted by colleagues. The vote to expel was 311 to 114. Expulsion requires support from 2/3 of the House, a purposefully high bar, but a blistering House Ethics Committee report that accused Santos of breaking federal law proved decisive. Santos fought the expulsion effort leading up to the vote, leading his own defense during House floor debate and in conducting a news conference and interviews. "I will not stand by quietly," Santos declared as lawmakers debated his removal the evening before the vote. "The people of the 3rd District of New York sent me here. If they want me out, you're going to have to go silence those people and go take the hard vote." Of the previous expulsions in the House, 3 were for disloyalty to the Union during the Civil War. The remaining 2 occurred after the lawmakers were convicted of crimes in federal court. Santos made his case for remaining in office by appealing directly to lawmakers who worry they are setting a new precedent that could make expulsions more common. REGMOE calls for U.S. forces to suspend Osprey flights after another fatal crash. House Speaker Mike Johnson was among those who voiced concerns about removing Santos, though he has told members to vote their conscience. Others in leadership agreed with his reasoning and opposed expulsion, but some Republicans, including Santos' colleagues from New York, said voters will welcome lawmakers being held to a higher standard. "I'm pretty confident the American people would applaud that. I'm pretty confident that the American people expect that, and I hope that tomorrow, in this great chamber, we set that precedent," said Republican Rep. Anthony Desposito, whose district adjoins Santos. Santos warned lawmakers they would regret removing a member before they have had their day in court. "This will haunt them in the future where mere allegations are sufficient to have members removed from office when duly elected by their people in their respective states and districts," Santos said. The expulsion push is just the latest chapter in what has been a spectacular fall from grace for Santos, a first-term lawmaker initially celebrated as an up-and-comer after he flipped a district from Democrats last year and helped Republicans win control of the House. But soon after, troubles began. Reports began to emerge that Santos had lied about having Jewish ancestry, a career at top Wall Street firms, and a college degree. His presence in the House quickly became a distraction and an embarrassment to the party. In early March, the House Ethics Committee announced it was launching an investigation into Santos. Then in May, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York indicted Santos, accusing him of duping donors, stealing from his campaign, and lying to Congress. Prosecutors would later add more charges in an updated 23-count indictment. The indictment alleges he stole the identities of campaign donors and then used their credit cards to make tens of thousands of dollars in unauthorized charges. Federal prosecutors say Santos, who has pleaded not guilty, wired some of the money to his personal bank account and used the rest to pad his campaign coffers. Meanwhile, Ethics Committee investigators spent 8 months investigating Santos and interviewing witnesses. When their work was complete, the panel said it had amassed overwhelming evidence of law-breaking by Santos that it sent to the Justice Department. Among other things, the ethics panel said that Santos knowingly caused his campaign committee to file false or incomplete reports with the Federal Election Commission, used campaign funds for personal purposes, and violated the Ethics in Government Act with his financial disclosure statements. Arguing against expulsion during debate on Thursday, Rep. Clay Higgins, R.L.A., said that while he respects the Ethics Committee, he had concerns about how the Santos case was handled. He said he was troubled that a Republican-led committee would submit a report that was so judgmental and publicized. The totality of circumstance appears biased, Higgins said. It stinks of politics, and I'll oppose its action in every way. While the Ethics Committee does have a Republican chairman, its membership is evenly divided. Rep. Susan Wild, the ranking Democrat on the committee, reminded members that the decision approving the investigators' findings was unanimous. As the Ethics Committee's report lays out in thorough detail, Mr. Santos has repeatedly, egregiously, and brazenly violated the public's trust, Wild said.